everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are so excited today. We have one of our favorite Hall stars is here. We have Natalie Hall here. Thank you so much, Natalie, for coming on the podcast.
Oh, Rachel, thanks so much for having me. I always love chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been too long. The last time you were on the podcast was in November 2020. So before that Christmas season, can you believe it?
Oh, I know. So long ago. So much has happened since then.
Yeah, really. I know. I'm excited to catch up. And we also had you on, we were talking off air. We had you on for our patron watch along in 2021. And so people should definitely check out the Patreon because it's so much fun to get a chance to talk to people like yourself. And we really appreciate you doing that.
Oh, it was so fun and so fun meeting everyone. And just also like going back and thinking about it all when we filmed that movie, and the questions were great. It was really fun just to connect with all the people. I loved it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. All the information on the Patreon in the description. Please check it out. We would really appreciate it. But thanks so much. And yeah, we had all of 2021. You had quite the year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you did too. Obviously, life has changed a lot for a lot of people.
Not as exciting as you to have a baby.
I
Yay.
know. Actually, I think in that when we did that, when we were viewing Winter Princess, I think I told everyone I was pregnant on there, but I was like, keep it, on the down low. I haven't said anything to anyone. Not that it matters. It was just sort of something that, you like to keep certain things private. But I remember telling everyone, and they were like. But yeah, I had a baby. So I'm a mom now, and Mother's Day is coming up. So it's my first Mother's Day, and very exciting. It's a little boy, and he just turned 1. And he's amazing, and I'm obsessed with him.
What'd you name him?
His name is Hardy Hall Robbins. I know people are like, that sounds like a country singer. But it's a family name, Hardy. So,
okay.
So it's a different name. I wanted something different. But when you meet him, you'll see that it suits him.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. What has been like the biggest surprise about being a mom?
I always had so much respect and admiration for parents and moms. But honestly, becoming one, how much work it is. It's just like my mom always says, you're not footloose fancy free anymore. I can't just like go to a restaurant or get on an airplane. And I've traveled with him probably 9 or 10, 11 times since he's been born. A lot. And, I used to look at it like being on an airplane, like, oh, I have to fly. And now I look at it and I'm like, oh, that was like a luxury. I just got to sit there and quiet and read a book or watch a movie. And now I'm like on an airplane being like, like trying to keep him happy and all the things. And it's just, there's so many things that are so shocking, but also just becoming a mom, you just see life so differently, and look at life differently. But also, they just add so much to your life.
Yeah.
But
you can appreciate sleeping more.
Yes, he's thankfully just now sleeping through the night. So actually, while I shot the movie we're going to talk about, I was waking up once or twice a night, and then also shooting long hours. So it was really tough. But yeah, the sleeping.
Yeah, that would be challenging. I can only imagine. But especially doing all that traveling 11 times. Woo.
I know, 11 times on an airplane.
I did 7 last year.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a lot too. Well, I'm saying 11 in the span of his life. So, when he was really little, it was fine. Yeah. I guess my family's in Canada, so I go up there a lot, and then obviously shooting and working. So it just all adds up. You were in New York too, right? Recently?
I've been twice. I went in October and I went in March. So that was super fun.
Did you see musicals? I miss that city so much.
Yeah. In March, I went with a group called Utah Theater Lovers, which is a Facebook group I've been a member for a long time. And they always would plan these trips. And I was just like, I don't know, it's so expensive. And so I never did it. But then when they announced they were going to see Music Man, with Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster in the fall, I was like, I have to go on this trip.
You're like, I have to do that. No,
I mean, if there's anything that the pandemic taught me, it was like, I'm stopping saying, oh, I don't know, I'm not gonna, no, go do it. when you have
Right,
the
because we
chance.
were locked down for so long, and
Yeah.
like you took for granted the things that you could do or people you could see. And I think definitely now a lot of people are like, do you want to hang out? I'll hang out. Like
Yeah.
everyone is like wants to be around each other
Yeah.
now. So it's so great. I'm so happy you went there and you got to see
Uh,
musicals. And was
it
Hugh
was,
Jackman amazing and Sutton Foster?
yeah, they're super fun. It had a real spirit of like a community theater, that production of Music Man,
Oh wow.
which was fun.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
so
there's so many
cool.
kids in the production. I think they had like 22 children in the cast. So
Oh my
something like
wow.
that. So that just gave it a really fun spirit about it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love watching kids on
Oh
stage
yeah.
or on camera. They always say like never be in a scene with a child, and it's totally true. Like when a child is on stage, that's all you want to watch because there's so much joy that
Mhm.
they have. So that's really so
Yeah.
cool. 22
The,
kids.
the little kid that does Gary, Indiana, that was really adorable
Oh my gosh, I bet.
with the
So
lisp.
cool. Oh my god. Oh, Lisp. Oh,
Yeah. Gary,
that's
Indiana.
oh my gosh.
That's so
That
cute.
sounds so cute.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I actually got to see 7 shows because it was the trip. I was all they do a great job planning these trips, and each
Yeah.
day we had to meet the artist where you got to have a like backstage seminar with somebody in the show that you were seeing that night. So that was cool. And then we did it was this company called Broadway Up Close, which are awesome. They did this
Yeah.
walking tour of Broadway with all these details about every theater, and that was really fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I'm
highly
not from
recommend it. If anyone
Utah, but that
listening,
sounds, yeah.
yeah, if anyone listening is going to New York and a Broadway fan, check out Broadway Up Close. They did a great job. They were really
I'm gonna
fun.
check that out next time I go
Yes, you should.
without a baby and see all my friends.
Yes. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast.
The Sweet Life by bestselling author Suzanne Woods Fisher is the perfect read to get you ready for the summer season.
Jilted by her fiance, Dawn Dixon escapes to beautiful Cape Cod on a groomless honeymoon with her mother.
But she didn't expect her mother to risk everything, on a whim, to move there permanently or buy a rundown ice cream shop in need of repair.
In order to make their new life work, they'll also need her ex's help, so things get messy.
Find out more at SuzanneWoodsFisher.com or use the affiliated link below.
That's SuzanneWoodsFisher.com. You had 2 movies which I want to talk to you about last year. You had Fit for a Prince, and then you had Stalked by a Prince. I guess that actually aired this year, but they both had Jonathan Keltz. So how did that all happen? I'm dying.
So it was a very funny story. So we obviously did Fit for a Prince, and Jonathan is just a dream to work with. So lovely and kind. And actually, I was pregnant during the shooting of that, but I didn't tell anyone. I didn't even tell Jonathan. And then we were going to do. There was talks of doing sort of like a sequel to it, sort of like meeting the families. And I was like, cool, that sounds fun. Like, would love to do that. I love working with Jonathan. And then I got the script and it said Stalked by a Prince. And I was like, I called my team and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like this is Hallmark? Like, is this for the murder mystery show? I'm confused.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, it's like a whole different new thing. And it was new characters. And I just thought it was genius. I was like, why not take the Hallmark-esque world and put it into like a horror thriller
Yeah.
Lifetime movie? And Jonathan did such a great job in it. Kind of wish I was the murderer, but he was amazing.
Mhm.
So it was very funny. We both were laughing about it because we were texting Jonathan and I being like, so this isn't a Hallmark movie that we're doing.
It was totally random that they happened to cast both of you, or did they do it because they knew you had just done this Hallmark version of a story?
So I think they sort of had like booked us in a way of like, we are
Uh-huh.
going to do a sequel. And then I guess they just thought like, oh, we have these two, so we're not doing a sequel anymore. So let's do this thriller.
I love it.
And
I
then
wish they would do that for every single Hallmark movie. I'm not even kidding. Make it like a 6-week shoot, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then for the first half you do the regular Hallmark movie, and then the second half you do the horror movie. It
Like
would
make
be,
one of them the killer. I
yeah,
totally agree. I was like, this is genius. I don't think they've ever done it before.
yeah.
I don't know if they'll ever do it again. But I thought it was really fun. And Max, the director on that, was so great, so awesome. I've worked with him, I think, like 4 or 5 times now. And so we just had such a good time doing that. And it was my first movie back since after giving birth. So that was also like a really,
Yeah,
cool
they could be like
experience.
road trip horror, a road trip nightmare.
Oh yeah, me and Corey. Except I want to be the murderer. I said to Max, I was like, "Can I come back? But can I be the murderer?" And he was like, "Oh, we'll see."
You could make
I
that
just
work.
love playing murderers. I played murderers on primetime stuff.
Well, and it
Like
would also be really funny if you had the basically exact same script, but you just did like little things to like tweak it, like different music, different whatever. You could make it a horror movie and have it be almost exactly the same.
Oh, that'd be genius. And also like Christmas time. There should be like
Yeah.
some Christmas horror movies. I think you
Yeah.
and I should, do a meeting and
Yeah.
then we'll
I'm
pitch our
available.
idea. Yeah.
Let's do it. I mean, there is a grand tradition of Christmas horror.
Is there?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I
Oh,
mean, there's
I
like Gremlins and
oh yeah.
and Krampus and movies like that.
I just totally forgot too. I did a Blumhouse horror for Hulu. It was Christmas and it was called what was it called? Oh, Nasty Piece of Work.
Oh,
And it's very funny.
that sounds
It's like,
good.
yeah, it's very funny. It's around Christmas time. One of the, actors from Schitt's Creek is in it, like great actors, like amazing actors. It's very fun. So I don't know.
There
Maybe
was
check
one,
that
I
out.
think 2019, called Letters from Satan Claus.
I love that. I'm so in.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
pretty
that
awesome.
sounds so fun.
Yeah. I mean, you watch so many of these squeaky clean Christmas movies that I do get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to watch Anna and the Apocalypse, which is a zombie Christmas movie, or one of these other ones. I need something different.
I know. You need like different. I love that they do that though. I gotta check that out more. Like all the horror Christmas movies.
Yeah, meaning, like I said, Gremlins is classic.
Yeah, I gotta put that on my list. You gave me such a great list of movies to watch. Was it Wild Rose? Didn't you tell me to watch
Oh
it?
yeah, Wild Rose, so good.
Oh my! I watched it one night with my husband after you told me, and that movie, like she was amazing in it, and like it was just so good. I loved that movie.
Isn't she the best? Now she's an Oscar-nominated actress, Jessica Buckley.
I know. Yeah, you were like, she is a star, and I watched and I was just like, she's amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that at least the song didn't get nominated. I couldn't believe it. That song was so great.
Yeah, she's so sorry, by the way. I hope you don't hear my little one in the background.
No, you're fine.
Okay. The world of podcasts and Zooms is you got a baby in the background screaming. My husband needs to get on it more.
Yes. So you have another movie coming out. I saw on the IMDb, Simple Little Lives. What's that about?
So I shot that a very long time ago in New York. And I don't know if it will ever see the light of day.
Oh, okay.
So that has been like in pre-production or post-production, sorry, probably for 6 years.
Oh my gosh.
It was a Sundance like director and producer team.
Okay.
And they made this like really artsy, interesting movie. And it's really cool, but I just don't know whatever happened to it.
It says completed on IMDb, so that's good.
Maybe it will come out. Who knows? Maybe it will come out when I'm like 50 and I'll be like, look at me go. Finally, I have a movie coming out.
I'll tell you if I see it at Sundance.
Yeah. Yeah, let me know. You go to Sundance. Let me know if I'm there.
All right. Well, so you have Road Trip Romance coming up. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so it's a really fun, cute movie. I'm opposite Corey. It's directed by Samantha, who's a wonderful director, Samantha Wan. And it's about a girl named Megan, and she has to get to her sister's wedding. She's the maid of honor. She has this big business pitch. She does it, and then she needs to get on an airplane, a flight, and there is a baggage strike. So the whole airport shuts down. So she needs to get to Wichita. And then, of course, she ends up in a rental car with her nemesis from high school, because he's going across country because he needs to get back home to Wichita to his father's retirement party. So then a series of events happen that are not great, and a bunch of crazy stuff happens, and then they end up in a Renaissance fair, which was a lot of fun to shoot. And then, of course, maybe some romance happens, but it's a really cute movie. I know they've done a lot of movies that are like across country, but usually they're around Christmas time or winter. So they had to be very creative with what they were going to sort of do and what was going to happen. But it was a lot of fun to shoot, and I had a great time, and it's really funny and fun. So I think people will enjoy it.
So you said that you and Corey were nemesis before?
Yes. Yeah. So in high school, we were
high school. Okay.
on debate teams, but like on the opposite ends, for different schools. And so we were very competitive with each other. So that was definitely something Corey and I wanted to bring into sort of the quick banter. And yeah, so it's very funny, like she really doesn't like him.
Well, that's one of the things we like about you, is that I feel like you can lean into the humor more than some of the other leading ladies.
Yeah, that's nice of you to say. I always love doing comedy, and I've been cast a lot in comedic roles. So I always love leaning into the comedy of things and trying to make things creative and fun and silly. I'm okay looking silly and awkward on camera.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes all the way back because we loved you in the 7-year Hitch.
Oh, I loved that movie.
That movie
so
good.
That
really
movie
good.
was so fun. At the time I was on All My Children, or I just ended All My Children, and Darren Brooks was on a soap, who is so funny. I think he still is on a soap, and we shot that in LA. And that was for Hallmark. And that was sort of like when Hallmark was really not the machine it is now.
Right.
It was sort of the before times.
You will have really good chemistry. And I feel like it's not the typical matchup that you usually see. So I think they should do one with the two of you again.
That would be a dream. That would be heaven. He is so funny. I would love to work with him again. But I know he's very busy on his soap and always getting nominated for Emmys. So he's very busy.
He's crushing it. Had you worked with Corey before?
No, that was the first time I worked with Corey, and he's lovely as well. He's Canadian, and he's got a little boy, so we definitely bonded over, having kids and stuff. But I'd never worked with him, but he's worked with so many Hallmark stars, and he's been around for a long, long time and has a lot of stories about his childhood, being a childhood actor and all that stuff.
I got to get him on the podcast. We never interviewed him.
You should.
Yeah, we really should.
Lovely. He doesn't have social media.
Yeah, put in a good word for us.
I very much respect that about him. I was like, he's like, I don't like social media. And I was like, I like that. That's cool. Like,
I know. I couldn't have, I mean, as much as it is a mixed bag, social media, I get that. But I feel like I couldn't have gotten through the pandemic without it. Like, I needed some kind of connection to people.
Yeah. Well, and also you running your podcast, you need to connect to people, and it is very important. I think for him, I think he's just very much about his family and his work, and which I totally get.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. When you're put with somebody, do you get to do a chemistry read or anything like that? Or you just make it work?
No, you just make it work. I always try and I think I'm pretty talkative. So I always work at trying to, get sort of, a thing going with my co-star. But no, there's no chemistry read unless it's for, not these type of movies, but for obviously like TV shows and pilots and all that stuff, usually there is a chemistry read.
Yeah. So do you have you got to work with a female director. That must have been fun.
Love it. Samantha, she is amazing. She's just so wonderful. She makes every person in the room feel like important, and she just is like all about the community and us all creating something together. And she's a wonderful director, a wonderful actor. I can't say enough great things about her.
Yeah, that seems really fun. So would you go to a real life Renaissance fair and be like a fair wench?
Absolutely. I don't want to be a wench. I would love that. No, a fair wench. That's so funny. No, I mean, so it's not something that I ever thought about, but when I saw it all and I saw the outfit they made for me, I was like, this is fabulous. I love this. And then Corey had his outfit on and his kilt. It was so much fun. Yeah.
The only time I've ever done anything like that was when I was in high school. I went to medieval times.
Yeah.
Which I guess is not exactly the same period.
You know what? It is the same thing.
It feels the same.
Yeah. There's people in their night outfits and all.
Yeah. They bring you some gruel and all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
You're eating chicken and watching people. Yeah.
Watching some jousting.
Yeah. Jousting. And what else did we do? The horseshoes, and yeah, it was a lot. I always love like clothes and the outfit and all that stuff. So I had so much fun being in that. And for once, the woman had more layers on than the male.
Yeah.
Because usually a woman's always in like a dress or whatever. And I was like, I got to have layers and it was so cold. And he was just in a kilt and he was like shaking because it was so cold.
When did you shoot this?
It was November in Ottawa, Canada.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Ontario.
That'll be cold.
So there were some nights that were really, really cold.
Yeah. I mean, it must be fun whether it's these princess movies you've done now, a couple, doing this one when you're in a Renaissance fair. It must be fun to get dressed up.
Oh yeah, I love it. It's so fun. Like going back to like the princess, like when I did my first Hallmark movie after 6 or 7 years. It was A Winter Princess with Chris McNally. And when they told me about it, they were like, oh, she's a princess. I was like, absolutely. Yes, I want to do that. And she, she's in the snow. I was like, of course she's in the snow. She's a princess. She's got a crown. I will be there. That one was a lot of fun too.
In Fit for a Prince, when you got all the chocolate all over the dress.
Yeah.
That must have been painful to get it all dirty like that.
Yeah. I think, they did some sort of.
When you only have one shot, I would think for that, you got to get it.
It fell on a bunch of like fake dresses, I think.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember how they shot it, but it wasn't like it ruined a bunch of really beautiful dresses. I think that'd be so expensive.
Yeah. So if you could go on your dream road trip, where would you go?
I think like just all over Europe would be so fun. To drive all through Europe, I think would be such a cool experience. My parents do that a lot, like not a lot, but like they've done trips where they'll, they're in their 60s and, they get in a car in like France and they just drive around to all these different towns. I think that'd be so fun. And a cool experience to do that. And they end up sometimes going to like towns that you've never heard of and meet really interesting people. And I would love to also do a road trip I'm in California to Vancouver, which I've done before, but I just think doing this sort of like on the ocean.
You should do a Southwest trip and wind around Utah.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. I give you lots of tips.
Yeah, I've never been there. I want to go one day.
It's pretty fun. And they shoot a lot of these Christmas movies here. So maybe someday.
Yeah, I know there's Ryan Little, he's a director. I think he lives there and he shoots there a lot. So I know they shoot a lot there. Well, obviously there's snow.
Yeah. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hearty, or Hallmarky in your life? What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
All right. Well, you've already done our other two questionnaires that we like to do, our fun, silly questions. So in honor of your appearance on this show, I created a Natalie Hall questionnaire.
Oh my gosh, I feel so honored, Rachel. Wow.
All right. Are you ready?
Exciting.
This is not your whole filmography. That would take forever, but there's a few that I selected. So first one is for all my children. The question is, what is your guilty pleasure movie? The movie that's kind of cheesy, is like not the best, but you really enjoy it.
Guilty pleasure, Clueless.
Okay.
Like the movie Clueless.
I love and adore Clueless, but I'll accept it. Yeah.
Wait, so you're saying guilty pleasure? Like,
yeah, like a lot of people consider soaps a little bit of a guilty pleasure. Like they're a little over the top, a little.
I see what you're saying. So,
yeah.
Movie, like guilty pleasure movie that's
or
like
show,
cheesy.
I guess. Yeah, just something.
The Housewives on Bravo.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like just like in the gutter of television. I'm there, like dumpster fire watching that show.
Do you have a favorite of the franchise?
I always loved New York.
New York. Okay.
Just because it reminds me of my New York days.
Okay, good.
And they're all crazy.
All right. For 7-Year Hitch, the question is, what's a pet peeve of yours that a spouse or roommate or somebody like that would do that would drive you crazy?
Would drive me crazy. So my husband, he drinks like Diet Cokes, and then he leaves the cans like everywhere, but they're not fully empty.
Oh no.
So like he'll have like 6 different Diet Coke cans all over the house. I mean, I have a million things that drive him nuts.
Yeah.
But that's one of my things.
That's a good one. Okay. Pretty Little Liars. Were you team Edward or Jacob with Twilight?
Okay. Well, you're going to look down upon me. I never watched the Twilight series.
But you never read them either?
No.
I mean, they're not that good, so it's fine.
What is his name? He was just the Batman.
Pattinson. Robert Pattinson.
So I'm gonna go with him because I just saw him in the Batman.
Yeah.
And I was very entertained.
Yeah, he's dreamy. There's no doubt.
He's dreamy. Yeah, he was emo Batman.
Okay. Winter Princess, what's your favorite winter sport or activity?
Skiing. I've skied since I was could walk. And so I love skiing.
Good. All right. Okay. Unreal. And you already kind of maybe answered this, but what's your favorite reality TV show?
I can go with another reality TV show.
Yeah.
So my husband's very into Selling Sunset.
Okay.
On Netflix. Actually, Chriselle, I was on All My Children with her. So it's interesting to watch her on the show. I don't know if you've ever seen Selling Sunset.
I never have. I heard of it, but
it's good for you. You're up here when it comes to.
I don't know. I've seen all the Twilights, so I think
that's true. But I'm like down here. So he loves that show. So I would say that's another guilty pleasure. We just, watched it.
Very good. Okay, you're baking me crazy. How do you eat bacon? How do you like your bacon?
I love bacon. I'm Canadian. Not that means anything, but I love bacon. I do love all food. I'm not like a picky eater. I'm not a vegan. I love all food.
So many of the actresses are vegan, and I can't keep track. And so,
no, they are. I mean, I think on Baking Me Crazy, I think there was including Michael, there were several actors that were vegan. So
they had to use the fake stuff.
Yeah,
Fake
and I have a
bacon.
lot of friends that are actors that are vegan. I like food too much.
Me too.
I mean, not that they don't like food. It's just, I just, yeah.
I like cheese too much. That's and the vegan cheese.
Cheese.
No,
And
thank you.
I love burgers. Like, I just love burgers. Like, it's like my favorite.
So maybe your favorite bacon is on a burger?
Yeah, I guess so.
That's
yeah.
how you do
You
it.
know what? Yeah.
Okay, good. Although sometimes we're getting a little out of control with the bacon, though. The other day I saw bacon bubble gum, and I was just like, that's too far.
No, I don't think I would be into that. We're also like, I also find there's like, I love cheese, but there's so much cheese in everything too.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's true.
I like cheese.
All right. Midnight at the Magnolia. What's your New Year's tradition? Probably now with your child, it's getting to sleep as soon as possible, but before that.
So actually, I do have a tradition. I write my goals for the year. My dad sort of created this little like piece of paper that you sort of put, your, spirituality, your friendships, your work goals, and then you create your goals off those things. And career goals I have, or trying to keep in contact with friends more. Every year it's different. So, and then I'm kind of a little odd, but I put it on a rock. I tape it on a rock and I throw it in the ocean.
Oh,
that's like a very odd thing, but
I love it.
I put it in Vancouver, the Pacific Ocean. I just throw it in the ocean and see what happens with life.
Cool. I love it. I'm jealous because I love the ocean so much. Just I wish I was closer to it. But
you have the mountains though, which
I do
are
have the
so
mountains.
Beautiful.
And we got the Grace Hill Lake, which is gross, but hey,
you know what? You got that. You got something.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to tell people that one of the fun things that we did one of the fun things I did during the quarantine was my friends and we covered the nanny on this show called the Francast we did. And one of the things that we did was we had your wedding planner on.
Yeah,
which was so nice
Stephanie.
of you to help us to cover the wedding for Fran and Maxwell. And so I felt like I got like a behind the scenes, just a little bit, peek into your wedding, oddly enough. But that was really, really fun. So people should definitely, that was one of my favorite episodes we did of the Francast. So thank you so much for hooking us up with your wedding planner.
I know you were like, I need a wedding planner. And obviously I follow you on Twitter and I was like, I have a great, like my wedding planner was wonderful because I, couldn't do it myself because I was at the time living in New York and getting married in Vancouver. And she's just so great. And we picked a venue where they shoot a lot of Hallmark movies. And actually, when I was on Charmed, that was where my sorority was where I actually got married, which was very funny. Actually, I think also Twilight, I'm sure they shot, or was it 50 Shades of Grey? They shot at the venue. But anyways, the wedding planner, she's so great. So I'm glad you guys had fun and she's just the best.
It was really fun. So my next question for Fit for Prince is what's your favorite dress aside from your wedding dress that you've ever worn?
So I have this dress that I wore to the daytime Emmys when I was on All My Children. I still have the dress. It's probably like 10, 12 years old, maybe more. And it's just this like gray All Saints dress. It's really cool. It looks like vintage. And it's just really easy. Like you don't have to like have it pressed or anything. I can just throw it in a suitcase. It's one of those dresses that it looks cool the way it sort of flows and I guess wrinkles. So that's my favorite dress.
That's
I wonder if there's I was like, is there a photo of me anywhere?
All right. As for Stalked by Prince, I said, who is your favorite Disney princess? Snow
Cinderella.
White. Yeah, Cinderella.
And then Ariel.
Mm-hmm. They're good
ones. And I haven't been like up to date on like all the princess movies now, but I'm sure with my little guy, I'll start watching Disney movies. And but Cinderella was something I very much remember. And then Ariel. I remember I loved Little Mermaid.
Oh, Little Mermaid is the best.
What about you?
Well, I think my favorite of the princesses is probably Mulan. I think she's pretty awesome. and
Amazing,
courageous. And but I also love I love Cinderella. I love Ariel. I mean, I love all of them. Well, really the only one I don't really like is Pocahontas, because I like her, and I'm sure in real life she was awesome, but in the movie she kind of irritates me.
Oh, I don't remember. So it's like I don't remember so many of the. Actually, for Fit for a Prince, I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, and I remember being like, I'm gonna watch Cinderella, because what else am I gonna do in a room that's this big for 14 days?
Yeah.
And I watched Cinderella.
So good. I feel like people are hard on the early princesses, and they're like, oh, they're just out for a man or whatever. And I'm like, no, that's not true. Cinderella was helped by a woman, the fairy godmother.
Yeah, that's true.
She just wanted one night she wasn't expecting to, dance with the prince. It just happened, and then she nailed it. So of course.
And also they have like, obviously everyone has their own views, but like she had like so many things against her, you know what I mean? She's being raised by like an evil woman, and she lost her father and her mother, and she came out on top, which it's like a Hallmark movie.
And I absolutely love Cinderella, but I love the scene when she just sings Sweet Nightingale.
Oh yeah.
With the bubbles and the animation. It's so beautiful. And then when she gets her dress torn apart, it's
devastating.
So sad. Devastating.
It's devastating. Yeah. Actually, I when my little guy was first born, the first like month or two, I played Sweet Nightingale a lot, just because I think it's such a beautiful song. When he'd cry and cry and cry.
I love Belle. She's great.
Oh yeah.
She's easy to love because she's a reader and she's so independent and so selfless.
What do you think of the live action version movies that they're doing of everything?
Not
you
fan.
Don't like them?
No.
Yeah.
There's a few that are okay.
Yeah.
I like The Jungle Book is all right. I like Pete's Dragon. That one's good.
Yeah.
I liked The Mary Poppins Returns. That was good.
Yeah.
The Beauty and the Beast was not for me.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. I was working in Atlanta. And I remember actually saw it with Mark Cherry, who's the creator of Desperate Housewives.
Oh yeah,
because we were shooting a pilot with Reba McEntire. It was a pilot I was shooting. Did Reba come with that? I don't think she did. But I did karaoke with Reba McEntire, and I was
my gosh,
wow. But yeah, I saw it with him. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is like a pinch me moment. But that was the only time I saw that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. The quote unquote live action Lion King was really bad. I thought.
Was it bad?
It was terrible. Yeah.
I didn't see it.
I don't know what they were thinking, but it made $1 billion, so good.
It made $1 billion?
Yeah, good for them.
I don't even remember. When did it come out?
2019. Yeah.
I must have been out to lunch.
I don't know. It was just like the most bland movie you could ever think. And because realistic looking animals don't have expression, right?
Right.
As opposed to an animated where you can get the tear, you can get it's not the same as in a realistic animal, the expressions on their faces.
It's like, I never saw it, but I saw clips like Cats, the live action Cats, which I never saw, but I saw.
That's an experience. You should at least see it once.
I think I should. I think it was on TV at one point, and I was watching it, and I was like,
I think it might be on HBO Max, maybe.
Well, maybe that will be
HBO Max.
Maybe I'll look into it. And I do. Maybe I'll look into it.
All right. Last question. Road trip romance. What is the best road trip snacks?
Well, I really like chocolate. I'll just sit and eat Hershey Kisses. You know, the little chocolate. I love those.
Yeah.
I just was like eating them before we started. I love
just plain milk chocolate, nothing.
The hugs. I'm open to all. I love chips. So my husband always makes fun of me. He's like, you have the diet of a 14-year-old boy. Like, I just love burgers and Cokes and Coca-Cola. And chips and I'll eat anything. Road trip.
The problem with
I
me is
think
that I can't have a lot of salt anymore. So that cuts out a lot of road trip snacks.
Oh,
You know, a lot of them are really salty, like jerky and stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But I do like dried apricots or apples. I like those.
That's healthy.
One. Yeah, it's true. It's healthy.
I'm so terrible. I'm not like, even apples, like I'll never just sit and eat an apple. So I really
I love chocolate dipped pretzels.
Okay, that's good.
A little salt, but
yeah. Do you have a food that you love eating on the road?
Yeah, I really do like jerky. So if I've been really good, I mean, I can have a little bit of jerky.
Yeah.
Because it'll make my blood pressure do crazy things. So I try not to eat very much salt. But I like jerky. I like trail mix.
Understand?
Like.
Yes.
And nuts and M&Ms and yummy. I go to Trader Joe's and just get a whole bunch of the different mixed nuts.
They have great nuts. Trader Joe's. They really do.
I mean, they have so many good snacks at Trader Joe's.
I know I love Trader Joe's. They just have everything that's just so good. And like some of the pre-made food is really great. Because I don't love cooking sometimes. So just like, here's your meal.
Yeah, I love their orange chicken.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. And they didn't have it last time. I'm like, oh no, because they rotate, these things out, and you'll have something you love and then you go and it's gone.
It's gone. I know. They also have some really great like products, like cleaning products.
Oh really?
Yeah, they have like just like all natural like cleaning products. Like I don't know. Trader Joe's is just great. I love it.
And I love like their different dips that they have.
Yes.
If I'm throwing a party, I always go to the dip.
And they have good cheeses. People are like, wah, wah. Are they really talking about Trader Joe's grocery list?
Hey.
Yeah.
This is our third interview.
Exactly. What are we talking about
covered the
now?
bases.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love Trader Joe's. It's a good 30 minutes from where I live at Trader Joe's, but it's worth it. You get stocked up.
Yeah, I'm like 20-30 minutes from a Trader Joe's too. They also have really good lemonade. Have you ever tried their lemonade?
Oh yeah. Well, and I've had it. The ginger lemonade is really good.
I haven't had that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have peanut butter that's not salted, which of course I really appreciate.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. There's chunky, like the
chunky, because I'm team chunky peanut butter. I don't know about you.
Oh no, I'm not chunky. My husband's chunky, but I like the soft, creamy. Again, a 14-year-old boy. Yeah.
Well, very good. You answered all the questions. You passed the Natalie Hall questionnaire.
I love that. Thank you so much. That was fun. I feel honored that you sat there and created a list for me.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad. Well, I'm really looking forward to the new movie. Thank you so much. It was great to catch up, and we'll definitely have to have you back for our patron event one of these days.
Yeah, Rachel, I love
Road Trip Romance.
Okay, I'm there, and I always love talking to you, and thank you for always supporting me and my movies and Hallmark in general. It's so great. So I really appreciate your time.
Oh, my pleasure. Okay, well, thank you again. And do you want to share your social media?
Yes, I have an Instagram under _Natalie Hall, and I think I'm the Natalie Hall on Twitter. I'm terrible with all that stuff.
Well, you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. It really helps us so much. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group and merch store. All the information is in the description. And thanks again, Natalie. Really appreciate it. And we'll look forward to the new movie.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.